it's Amy Pearson from beingamytheblog.com, and I'm coming at you with an update and some thoughts on the topic of unconditional love. So, it's been an interesting couple of weeks here at the Albano household. My husband did come down with COVID, so that's one of the reasons why I've been sort of out of touch. But he did come down with COVID, and it's interesting because he did so after having several negative tests, and then started to feel like he was coming down with something. And then by that time, he had been cleared to re-enter the household. So all us girls in the household were exposed. So I've been in a strict quarantine for 2 weeks. I'll be done this weekend. So so far I have not had any symptoms. I've tested negative. I feel great. So let's keep our fingers crossed. But I'm pretty confident that I'm in the clear. I don't know if maybe I had it at some point in the past, or if I just got magical blood or what, but I'm feeling good. And the girls are all feeling great. So that's the scoop with us. My husband is doing great. He had very mild symptoms, and I believe that's because we were able to address it with some protocols that I learned about. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about unconditional love, and that has been something that I have been working on for myself. And ever since I started writing my memoir, actually, which is called Forgiving Amy, and I'm still working on it, and I'm hoping that this summer I will have the next edit done. But ever since I started to work on that book, it really has been a healing process, a healing journey, because I think writing memoir, if you're doing it right, is causing you to really look at your life and your past from a kind of like this honesty, because you have to write from the perspective of the you then that was making those choices, but you also have to write from the perspective of the you now, who has a different kind of perspective. And so that's very interesting, and it's really caused me to have to go back and channel that version of me and why she made those choices, and think about that from my own perspective, from what I know now. And it's really led me to develop an understanding of myself, and really led me into the work of forgiving myself, all those versions of me. And that includes versions of me now, right? The version of me now. And that forgiveness work that I've been doing has, I would say, been, out of all the healing modalities that I've done and tried, has been the most transformative and liberating. Because what happens when you offer yourself unconditional positive regard and forgiveness for whatever is that you no longer feel this pressure to have to perform or prove yourself or defend yourself, or hold tightly to an identity, for that matter, really. Because I think what happens is when we're not allowing ourselves to be human, and when we're not allowing ourselves to make mistakes, or just be vulnerable, is that we cling to the idea of right or wrong. We cling to this idea that we're right about certain things, and then we have to defend that. Or we work really hard, ouch, a bug just bit me. We work really hard to project this image of ourselves that we hope others will respond positively to and reinforce our positive self-image. But then we're vulnerable, right? If we receive any kind of judgment or criticism, then we all of a sudden lose that positive regard that we had for ourselves, because we were sourcing it externally. So the forgiveness work that I've done has really allowed me to feel so much more secure in myself, but it's also allowed me to, it's freed me up to learn and to grow and to evolve. So I would say, you know, because I'm willing to accept that I don't know everything, or that I make mistakes, that, you know, in the past I've been wrong because I've seen things in a certain way and now I see things in a different way, and I can offer myself that compassion and that understanding, but also know that, you know, I may have felt like I was in the right then, but looking back now from this other perspective, I can see that, you know, that was really misguided. My perspective was misguided, and I didn't have the understanding that I do now. So what it does is it allows you to be open to evolution, to evolve and to change. You're not stuck in this fixed view because you feel like you have to continuously sort of defend yourself and really cling to that view so that you feel good about yourself. So I hope that makes sense, but I'm just trying to explain why the forgiveness and the compassion that I've been able to offer myself has been so transformative and powerful for me. And what I'm realizing now as I'm aging, I'm 48 and I'm growing, you know, older, and my body's changing, is that my body is such a powerful teacher when it comes to practicing unconditional love. Because I think, you know, especially for women, but also for men, we're constantly being exposed, right, to these images of female bodies and male bodies, and comparing ourselves to that, or buying into this idea that somehow we have to be like that in order to be whole or worthy. And this has been, if you watch TV or follow social media or look at magazines, movies, you've been exposed to this for your entire life. And it kind of reminds me of a video I did in the past about, you know, what reality are you choosing, right? Are you sovereign? You have the power to reject, to deny certain viewpoints that others have. You do not have to automatically buy into that. So that kind of reminds me of this idea that, you know, just because we're exposed to these images and when we're being told by the powers that be, whoever shapes these movies and these, you know, these advertisements, that is the ideal, we do not have to believe that or buy into that. And especially as I'm aging and my body's changing, I am really now realizing that my body is teaching me how to completely embrace this idea of unconditional love. If you think about it, because this is an area where I struggle, I've all my life, my identity has been attached to this idea of being pretty or beautiful or attractive to men. And so I've really, it's one of the reasons why I shave my head, is to sort of meet myself where I am. But as I age, I find myself still kind of resisting the aging process. And I find myself just like wishing that I was thinner, or that my body looked a certain way, or that it would respond to exercise and diet in a certain way, and noticing that I come up against frustration and disappointment when it comes to my physical appearance. And I have a hunch I'm not alone when it comes to this. And what I realize now is that my body is here to teach me unconditional love. Because if you think about it, your body every day shows you unconditional love. I don't know any other relationship where, you know, if you think of this metaphor of your body being a friend, right? Like, it shows up for you every single day, and it does its best to perform for you. If you didn't have your body, you wouldn't be able to experience pleasure. You wouldn't be able to hear the birds singing. You wouldn't be able to see this that cord hanging. I don't know. I just find that funny that cord is just like kind of wobbling around. I need to do something about that. You wouldn't be able to hear your friends. You wouldn't be able to hear this video. You wouldn't be able to feel, right? The sensations of touch. You wouldn't be able to hug, enjoy a kiss, eat delicious food, hear music, pet your cat. Like, your body is what allows you to experience pleasure. Your body is what allows you to learn. Your body is what allows you to really, everything that you do on a day-to-day basis, even just walking, getting up, sleeping, those are all things that your body does for you. And yet, so many of us, especially women, and especially as we age or after we've given birth, right, which is another miracle of the body, is we look at it with, a lot of us look at our bodies with contempt, right, or disgust. Can you imagine any other relationship where that individual shows up every single day for you and does so much for you? Like, what other entity does as much for us as our bodies? And then we treat it with contempt and disgust. And so I really want to issue a formal and public apology to my body, and from now on really embrace just appreciation and gratitude that I have a body that allows me to do all these things, that allows me to be talking right now and thinking and sharing ideas and enjoying the sunshine and listening to birds. And so I think that our body is just this wonderful way for us to practice unconditional love. Because, sometimes the body breaks down, sometimes the body gets sick, the body ages, right? But we can offer our body gratitude and offer it unconditional love, just given everything that it is given to us and how it shows up for us every day. So I had that insight, and my intention has really now been to try to show up on a daily basis in the energy of unconditional love. And how can I do that if I have this kind of relationship with my body where I'm looking at it and acting disappointed or disgusted, right? And so that was a huge shift for me, and we'll see what changes from that perspective. But I also wanted to share another quick insight that I had regarding unconditional love, because which is really the energy of forgiveness and compassion. And that is something that I've been using on myself with regard to mistakes I make, or, the misguided things that I've done in the past, or, just how I'm showing up in the world. As an example, I've been feeling a little bit unmotivated to do much of anything. And obviously, I've been dealing with a lot here at my house, and, my kids have been dealing with a lot. And I have been able to show myself that unconditional love and compassion and forgiveness for that feeling of unmotivation. But, in the same way that I can offer that to myself, I can offer that to my body, but I can also offer that to the world. Because right now, I've been dealing with a lot of disappointment and anger at things that are happening in the world. And what I'm realizing is that if I, as within, so without, right? As above, so below. So if I'm showing this kind of compassion and forgiveness and love to myself and to my body, then why not offer that to the world? And by the world, I mean, not necessarily the earth, because I kind of see the earth as just this entity where I feel so much gratitude and love towards the earth. But just, I guess, the collective, maybe, like humanity as a whole, maybe, just offering forgiveness and unconditional self-love, or unconditional love, and forgiveness and compassion to the collective. So that has helped me to get closer to being in that frequency and that energy of love, because it's always a win-win. It's always a win-win when you can operate from that vibration. So those are some thoughts that I have with regard to unconditional love and how our bodies are really here to help us practice that. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this, please give it a like, give it a comment, give it a share. Thanks for being a part of my community, and take care.